History is filled with heroes, but some stories shine so brightly they change the world forever. Today, we're talking about a woman who wasn't just a nurse. She was a revolutionary, a warrior who battled on two fronts. Her name was Florence Nightingale. You might know her as the Lady with the Lamp, a gentle figure gliding through dark hospital wards. But that image only scratches the surface. The real Florence Nightingale was a force of nature, a brilliant statistician, and a fierce advocate who was treating the wounded while simultaneously fighting a war against the very system she was meant to serve. Born into a wealthy British family, Florence was expected to marry well and live a life of leisure. But she felt a calling, a divine purpose to serve others. Against her family's wishes, she pursued nursing, a profession then considered lowly and disreputable. This was her first battle, and she won. When the Crimean War broke out in the 1850s, reports of the horrific conditions in military hospitals shocked the public. Soldiers were dying more from disease like cholera and typhus than from their battle wounds. The hospitals were filthy, overcrowded, and lacked basic supplies. It was a death trap. This is where Florence Nightingale entered the history books. She led a team of 38 volunteer nurses to the British camp in Scutari. What she found was chaos. There was no clean water, no decent food, and men were lying in their own filth on the floors. The army's medical establishment was a bureaucratic nightmare, resistant to change and hostile to her interference. They saw her, a woman, as an unwelcome disruption. This is what we mean when we say she was fighting the living while she tended to the dying soldiers. She was also in a constant, brutal fight against military officials and doctors who refused to listen. They blocked her access to supplies, dismissed her suggestions, and saw her very presence as an insult. They wanted her to fail. But Florence was not easily deterred. She was a master of logistics and a genius with data. Using her own money, she bought scrubbing brushes, clean bedding, and better food. She established a laundry. She made sure the wards were ventilated, and at night, when the doctors were gone, she would walk 4 miles through the dark hallways, lamp in hand, checking on every single patient, offering comfort and care. This is how she earned her famous nickname. More than just a compassionate nurse, she was a scientist. Florence meticulously collected data on mortality rates. She created detailed charts and graphs, including her famous polar area diagram, to prove that most soldiers were dying from poor sanitation, not their injuries. Her evidence was undeniable. She showed, with cold hard numbers, that her hygiene reforms were saving lives. Her reports were sent back to London, and they were so powerful they forced Queen Victoria and the government to act. A sanitary commission was sent, and the hospitals were finally cleaned up. The death rate plummeted. Florence had won her second, much harder battle. After the war, she didn't stop. She returned to Britain a national hero, but she avoided the spotlight. Instead, she used her fame and her data to launch a massive campaign to reform the entire British military healthcare system. Her work led to the establishment of the first professional nursing school and transformed nursing into a respected, vital profession for women. Her influence spread worldwide, shaping modern hospital design and public health policies that we still benefit from today. Florence Nightingale wasn't just a kind lady with a lamp. She was a stubborn, brilliant, and strategic fighter who saw a broken system and dedicated her life to fixing it. She fought for the soldiers who had no voice, and in doing so, she saved countless lives, both then and for generations to come. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this story as inspiring as I did, please hit that like button, subscribe for more stories of incredible historical figures, and share this video with someone who needs to hear it. See you in the next one.